It really is kind of amazing how quickly things are changing with coding. It used to feel like this walled garden, right? You needed serious credentials.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But AI is really shaking that up. And that leads us right into this really interesting concept called vibe coding.
Vibe coding. Okay, tell me more. What's the core idea there?
Well, the main goal really is about opening coding up, making it something anyone can potentially do, even if you don't have that deep technical training. It's about empowering more people to create.
I like the sound of that. And today we're actually going to dive into a live example of this, aren't we? We're looking at Frank's YouTube live sessions.
Exactly. He's not just talking about vibe coding. He's like doing it, building things out in the open, showing how it works step by step.
So for you listening, if you're someone who wants to get up to speed fast, get those key insights without, watching hours and hours of streams.
Yeah, this is perfect. We're aiming to pull out the main takeaways, those aha moments from what Frank's demonstrating.
Right. Think of this as your focus brief. Our mission is basically to unpack Frank's live sessions, figure out what vibe coding looks like in practice and what it means.
Okay, so where should we start? One of the first things Frank seems to highlight is how AI handles the actual coding part.
Yeah, he made this observation apparently that AI is actually pretty good at generating smaller bits of code, like say under 200 lines.
That seems to be a sweet spot he's noticed. The AI can handle those self-contained tasks pretty effectively.
But, and this is important, he also flags the potential challenge, right? What happens when projects get bigger, more complex?
That's the question. Can current AI really scale up to handle, large, intricate software systems? Or does it start to struggle?
It's a crucial point. It seems like AI excels at the micro level, the small snippets.
But stitching all those snippets together into a big, functioning application, that might still need a lot of human oversight, that architectural vision.
And thinking about you, the listener, wanting efficient knowledge, this is key. The AI could handle the nitty-gritty details of those small code blocks.
Allowing you to focus more on the overall structure, the big picture, how everything connects, almost like being a director, guiding the AI coders.
Yeah, exactly. Less focus on syntax, maybe, and more on strategy.
It definitely suggests a shift in what skills are most valuable.
Okay, so moving on from the code generation itself, there's another really cool thing Frank's doing. He's rethinking the whole design phase. Usually you have things like UML diagrams.
Oh yeah, UML can be pretty dense, very technical blueprints for software.
Right. Sometimes hard to decipher unless you're deep in that world. But Frank's translating that kind of design thinking into something else. He's using ComfyUI.
Yes, ComfyUI, it's this visual interface. Think of it like connecting different processing nodes together, like a flow chart, but for AI tasks. He's basically building a visual map of his project.
So instead of a complex UML diagram, you get this workflow you can actually see. Node A connects to node B, does something, passes it to node C.
Exactly. It makes the logic much more intuitive. You can literally see the flow of data and processing. It's like a visual blueprint for the AI project.
That sounds way more accessible, especially if you don't have a traditional coding background.
That's the whole point. It
Yeah.
lowers the barrier significantly. You get a feel for the system's architecture just by looking at the flow.
And for you listening, especially if you sometimes feel overwhelmed by technical jargon, this visual approach could be a game changer. Seeing the connections helps understanding, right? Less abstract theory, more concrete flow.
Precisely. It taps into a more intuitive way of understanding systems.
And crucially, this isn't just theory Frank's talking about. He's actually doing this. He's building real projects live on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the key part. It's not hypothetical. He's demonstrating vibe coding by creating actual things. You see the process, warts and all.
Like, we heard about projects maybe involving AI animate podcast videos or building specific AI tools, real applications.
Right. And because it's live, you see the problem solving in real time. You see when things don't work and how he figures it out. Step-by-step guidance.
Which, for you listening, is probably much more engaging and memorable than just reading a tutorial, seeing it happen live, the challenges and successes.
Absolutely. It makes the learning process very practical, very grounded. You see how it's done, not just what can be done.
And this isn't just a one-off thing he's doing. He's committed to this, right? Doing these sessions regularly.
Yes, twice a week, apparently.
Yeah.
That's quite a commitment.
And the target audience is interesting, too. He's aiming this at people with, like, zero prior coding knowledge.
That's the stated goal, to guide complete beginners towards becoming, as he puts it, vibe coding masters.
So it's not just about showing off cool tech. It's about teaching a new way of interacting with it, this idea of vibe learning.
It sounds like it emphasizes intuition, getting a feel for how to guide the AI, focusing on the bigger picture rather than memorizing every detail. Breadth over depth, perhaps.
Kind of like learning just enough to ask the right questions and steer the AI effectively. Simplify the problem, let the AI handle the complex implementation details.
And it's not just watching him. He seems to be building a community around it, too, encouraging people to follow along, try things out, ask questions.
That collaborative aspect is really important for learning something new, isn't it? Learning together.
Definitely. Sharing discoveries, troubleshooting together. He provides resources, too, like the code on GitHub, a Discord channel, making it a whole ecosystem.
So he's showing practical steps like how to actually build things in ComfyUI, maybe creating custom nodes.
Yeah, things like building a custom node to interact with, say, an OpenAI API. He apparently shows how to prompt another AI, maybe like Claude, to help write the Python code for that node.
Wow, so using AI to build the tools to work with AI, that's pretty meta.
It is, and it really embodies that vibe coding idea. You're guiding the AI to create the building blocks you need. He also covers practical stuff, like setting up inputs and outputs in ComfyUI, handling API keys securely.
Ah, the security part is crucial, using .env files and things like that.
Exactly. And debugging. You see him troubleshoot the AI-generated code when it doesn't work perfectly the first time. Maybe building utility nodes, too, like one to just save text output.
It sounds very hands-on. And he even talks about building an AI Cober node. What's that?
Sort of the ultimate expression of this, maybe.
Mm.
A node within ComfyUI that you could prompt, and it would generate the Python code for other ComfyUI nodes.
Okay, that's really leaning into the AI as a tool builder concept. Very cool.
Yeah, it really reinforces the idea of simplifying development, letting the AI do more of the heavy lifting based on your high-level instructions. He sometimes calls this whole approach web learning or web coding, right?
Yeah, emphasizing that you don't necessarily need that deep traditional expertise right at the start. It's more about understanding the concepts, the possibilities, and learning how to interact effectively with the AI.
It aims to bridge that gap, making powerful technology accessible even if your technical background isn't extensive.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The key takeaways from Frank's live streams on vibe coding seem to be: first, AI is pretty decent at coding smaller chunks, maybe under 200 lines, but larger projects still need human direction.
Right. Second, he's pioneering this use of ComfyUI to translate design ideas into visual workflows, making the whole process much more intuitive and accessible than traditional methods like UML.
And third, he's demonstrating all this live twice a week, building real stuff and aiming to guide absolute beginners towards proficiency in this vibe coding approach. It's very practical, very hands-on.
It's really a live, evolving masterclass in this new way of thinking about creating with AI, supported by that community aspect as well.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, this really opens up possibilities. It suggests a future where maybe your ideas, your vision, and your ability to communicate with AI are the key skills, potentially lowering the barrier to entry for creating powerful applications.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How could this vibe coding approach change how you think about tackling a technical project or learning a new skill? What doors does this kind of accessibility potentially unlock for your own ideas?
Definitely something fascinating to ponder.